Welcome, beautiful soul family and star beings. I was guided to create a light language transmission to help you break free of and heal, cleanse, purify, and transmute generational curses and ancestral curses. This transmission will also help you to relieve yourself of any karmic loops and cycles, any habitual patterns and behaviors, any limiting belief systems, any ways of being that were passed down to you through your conditioning and through your surroundings that do not serve you to your highest good and do not serve those in your vicinity to their highest good. As you free yourself, you free your entire family, your entire lineage, and all those who came before you. You help to liberate your ancestors, and you help to liberate yourself and those who come after you. This is powerful work you are doing, fam. You are paving the way and creating new solid foundations for the generations to come, who will be greatly appreciative of the work that you are putting in now on the behalf of yourself and the behalf of the entire planet Earth and the collective consciousness. There are many examples of how generational patterning and programming and conditioning, including ancestral programming and conditioning, has impacted us all and continues to impact us to this day. And I have created a light language transmission for ancestral healing if you would like to learn more about that, which I will link at the end of this video. Back in the day, and even somewhat now, a lot of people used to curse each other, send each other curses, hexes, spells, black magic. And it was more so a way of manipulating energy to try and attain a sense of power or attain what they wanted in a very low vibrational sense. It was a form of utilizing energy to create quick results and outcomes that were not to the greatest good and did not have the best of intentions. And an example of this is, I know for a fact that in Fiji, where my parents come from, a lot of people back in the day used to curse each other. They used to send each other all types of things if they didn't like their neighbors, if they had issues with somebody living down the road. Rather than actually taking the responsibility and accountability for healing within themselves, because they were not consciously aware that they could do that and they had not reached that state of awareness within themselves, they used to project their pain, they used to project their trauma, they used to project their own inner turmoil onto other people by cursing them, by wishing ill upon them and malice towards them, towards their families, towards their children, towards anything that was connected to somebody that they didn't like. And so if those generational curses have been continuing and people in your family have been continuing those patterns, cycles and behaviors, then they may have unintentionally and unconsciously passed some of those things down to you. Also the patterns that these people carried and your ancestors carried, where they may have been slaves, they may have been told they were not good enough, they may have been made to feel like they were unworthy, undeserving, they may have had their values overlooked, they may have been treated very poorly, and therefore they adopted this belief system and passed it down towards you. I'll give you an example of this in my own life, and it's still something that's occurring around all areas of the world today and is still relevant today. In certain cultures, being a female, being born a female is considered a sin. It's considered an upshagun, meaning that it's looked upon as a burden, as if it's some kind of mistake to be a female or to be born as a feminine energy. In a lot of those cases, importance was given to being a boy, being a man, having a boy. It was considered shagun, which was considered like, this is amazing, this is going to be the person who's going to carry on our legacy, this is going to be the person who's going to carry on the family loom. And what a lot of these traditions have failed to consider is that without the female, there is no man, there would be no birthing of the new generations to come. And so this is something that I personally experienced as a child, where I was always told, and I always was made to feel like I was lesser than my brother. I was always made to feel like I held less value, less importance. Even if I was able to create and go above and beyond, I was still made to feel like I was lesser than. And I often looked up to my brother, so I really did try to live up to certain expectations. I really did try to match his energy in a lot of ways, not so much in a competitive way, but more so because it made me feel proud. It made me feel proud to be his sister, and it made me feel proud to see him do amazing things in his life, and I wanted to do the same thing. You know, you look up to your siblings. But I always used to get told this one same line over and over again that really affected my inner child at the time, which was, it's okay for him to do it because he's a boy. Nobody's ever going to say anything to him, but you can't do that because you're a girl, and everybody's going to point fingers at you if you do it. That did hold me back a lot as a child, but growing up and becoming a teenager and going into my early adulthood, being the divine rebel that I am, I broke out of a lot of that program and conditioning. I really rebelled against it, and I repelled that energy because deep down on a soul level, I knew that that wasn't true. Deep down on a soul level, I knew I held both masculine and feminine energies, and just because I was born into a female body, it didn't make me any lesser than. It didn't make me dirty, it didn't make me sinful, it didn't mean that I wasn't worthy enough or valuable enough. And another thing as well is, you know, when women have their menstrual cycles, when they go through their period, they're considered dirty in certain religions, they're considered dirty in certain communities and societies, where this is one of the most beautiful processes of purification that can happen. This is the way that we birth new life, that we create new life, that we are able to conceive. And so there are many other areas like this in my life, and I'm sure in other people's lives, that they have experienced these types of curses and these types of belief systems and generational patterning and programs and karmic cycles and loops that have continued to just be passed down over and over and over again, that do not serve to the highest good, that absolutely don't make any sense whatsoever, but it's just like Simon said it, so everybody just follows what Simon says. And although you may not resonate with these examples, maybe you're a male and maybe you experienced it differently. So maybe you felt cursed to not be able to express yourself and your emotions. Maybe you felt like you always had to suppress yourself and hold everything in. Maybe you felt like you needed to act and behave in a certain way because that's what men were told to act and behave like. Be all macho, be actionary, be the provider. Maybe you felt like you always had to look after others to your own detriment. You have always had to put yourself to the side to make sure everybody else was provided for and everybody else's needs were met. So these types of things have been carrying on for so long, and you might not resonate fully with my examples, but I give these examples to help spark within you something that you may be carrying that may be unconscious or that maybe you are unaware of, but it's going to help to bring that to your conscious awareness, because that which we are not conscious of, we find it very difficult to heal those things. It's very difficult to actually work on something that you don't even know is there to begin with. So I often share my little stories and experiences here and there with you guys in hopes of sparking that area within you where maybe you've been carrying something within yourself that's no longer serving to your highest good. Maybe there were curses that your family members had, or that those before you, your ancestors or your parents have carried, your relatives have carried, your siblings have carried, that were projected onto you, or that you took on simply because you are the person in the family who is here to bring the light. You are the one that takes the initiative to heal. You are the healer in the family. So it may have run in your family up until now, but I can tell you this one thing, it stops now because it ran into you, and when it runs into you, it's about to be put an end to. There's this saying, it ran in the family until it ran into me. Right? Many starseeds and light workers, we're divine rebels. We don't just take it at face value. We don't just take what people tell us to do and how they expect us to be. We always challenge the status quo. We question everything. I know as a child, this made me look like the troublesome child, because if something didn't sit right with me, oh boy, oh boy, you know. And I think I'm still that way to a certain degree, but I also filter everything now through my heart space before I take any actions. And I do my absolute best to take aligned action. Even when I'm in a state of imbalance, I do my best to bring myself into a place of harmony and balance before I deliver anything, before I say anything, before I approach anything. And if I can't say it from a space of love, then I just remain quiet. I feel like being quiet, learning to listen, is what helps us to speak with authenticity and integrity, is what helps us to speak in such a way that helps other people heal and that also helps ourselves heal at the exact same time. So with that said, you guys, I'm going to deliver this light language transmission. As I said, it's going to help you to break free from all those generational curses and ancestral curses and familial curses and the loops and cycles, programs, patterns and conditions that have now served their purpose and that have brought you to this point so that you are able to heal and come into a greater understanding of yourself, merge into a greater version of yourself, and assist all those that are connected to you in any way, shape or form that are in your lineage and that come into contact with you. As you heal and beam your light, it becomes magnetic and it helps other people heal. Even if they don't realize it, even if it's on a subconscious or unconscious level, it helps others to heal and come into a greater embodiment of their own power. Now I'll invite you to find a comfortable position, laying down or seated, however you feel most comfortable at this time. And I would recommend that you are in a space where you will not be disturbed, where you can really take the time to go within and integrate these light codes with ease and grace. Take a deep breath in and set your intention for today's light language transmission. Everything that you are ready to release. Anything that you are remembering from childhood or from past lifetimes that is coming through, allow it to be shown up to you so that you can become consciously aware and release this from your being, release this from your energy field, release this from your aura, and release this from your physical vessel now. With each inhale, see yourself bringing new positive high vibrational energy into your being. And with each exhale, see yourself releasing all of the old, all of the past, all of the programs, patterns and conditions that have served their purpose. With each inhale, bring new high vibrational life force energy into your body and being. And as you exhale, release all the curses. Release all the strongholds. Release all the constricted energy. And open up now to receiving this transmission. Let's begin. Istaranashtuko Andiran atukushtu Urya atista Anda ishtakaralaka astu ushtukutuku Isht andar eta urgut aste Andhara ashtu unam uta yatalaka uretasi Handere ashta urgut ustu ut ara anna ut usht era kaste ira aushtena aste Ivriata kushtu ane umpara asta utakata kau enna are kushtu akakau udru ista akakupa ina ate ushtanana arreka utu arra arraka ustu uria caca anaste takuru umbu han itra ustu ushtaka arrate sinanta shi Ita isto uturu ukaka antera se ushtu hanga kru ushtu unanesi itea ustina hasila krakushtu runa testi kato Pashti kata surya tata sina kathara tushte Isanatu tushna astara ila katush inanana katha usyai toshu tu sina ushtu to ura tata urya nana hanita asura katha ishta isti Hananaki Uria Hasata Shunana Isteraka Anakana Sita Shluna Anierako Uruku Stita Ansina Tresowa Inaraka Ishiraka Ustina Nasika Ashtuku Aisana Pesho Inaka Sita Ushururu Itradi che se vuole Hanakati si ha usto Hakareto Korokuto Shuru Inani Hasya Harekete Hashtina Hanauru Hanera Sera Rokola Kati Iraka Sanana Ushte Hanasti Koro Shiraka Inyananase Onana Areha Areha Ustora Katare Mikiti Unakase Hinana Shoro Koto Sikiti Itikiti Kana Kate Unishikatara Kata Sukuturu Isane Yadaraka Usina Ilanana Huru Era Sete Ushtena Atira Sunduru Takatai Itanase Ushya Hasha Hatakuru She Hana Hasimita Shuru Sita Atra Nishi Inina Hara Ahutu Usya Hara Asana Sho Hara Asana Kusheta So Hisinera Ushur Potena Hisinera Nasu Isana Nana Huria Arikiti Itika no shu de etera eseka osuku ina hana katori darase hana shu ya ta ina shekiti atreke ushtraka hinraka asurya ta kata sina hanana ushera ta unya kata sina ushena kata usukoto henda atra asira ta ushia arika utra arika inasu hira anana kasiola lakate asina kata shurokota alikat it ukuti asara ana hambaraka sho halaka usuya hambalaka sho harika usuya ka hambalaka sho akus inara arka idirikat utarkat helala usya asya hambalaka so arya kata usya rakat dindara kasinde kata urru kutu hinana hindaraka isti hinana hindaraka isti atashi unne saraketi nanase unyakase hanana isha irate trukushu isha astarakata unne hite hanana ista astaraka uryakata ishtanana hese harya ata ara isha. Thank you. It is done. And so it is.